Hey, we're back for more mobility. Today I wanted to talk about hip mobility and two stretches you can do to start to open up your hips. Once again, as always, minimum 2 minutes per stretch. Now this one, each one, you have to hit each side. So it's going to be 2 minutes per side minimum. So you can either add both these to your regular routine if hip mobility is a primary problem for you, or you can pick one of them and alternate between the two and go from there. Okay, but the key to hip mobility, of course, is it does end up being the secret to helping with most low back pain, most knee pain. Usually always happens in the hip and just from getting into poor hip positions. Okay, so the first one we're going to address is just how to open up those hip flexors. Best way to do it is the couch stretch. So couch stretch, named because you can do it against the side of your couch. All you need is a corner that you can stick your knee in, okay? So we're not out here. We want to push that knee right into the corner. From there, this opposite leg is going to wrap all the way around and get your foot flat on the floor, okay? So once we're in this position, then we can start leaning back into that couch position. Now, a few things to keep in mind. As I'm in this position, thinking of squeezing my butt here, so I'm engaging this glute, and I'm also trying not to hyperextend my low back and really blow my ribs up. So I'm trying to keep my core engaged and my butt engaged as I stretch through, and then I want to feel a stretch or lengthening through that hip flexor. Now, if you're struggling to get into that back position, that's where you can grab yourself a chair or an ottoman or whatever and use the chair to help support you and help push you back. If this is really painful, just keep breathing through it. Big deep breaths. Release the stretch. Take a big deep breath as you exhale, trying to push into it. You could also grab a device such as my giant magic stick and use that as kind of a support tool to start to pull you back. Now, once you can get into this back position, once again, glutes engaged, abs are engaged, so I'm locked in tight. From here, I'm going to start pushing my butt off my heels, so that's going to create more of a stretch through the hip flexor. You may find right through the middle of your thigh you're actually getting the most intense stretch. Once again, just keep breathing through it. Part of that is quite simply because you have to be able to work some of that tightness out before you can really start opening up your hips, okay? So 2 minutes each side, just holding that stretch. The second one is actually a couple different things or a couple different ways you can look at it. So our half pigeon with one leg forward and just dropping down and kind of leaning in. On this one, you're going to mostly feel that through the glute. I always tend to try and lengthen through the spine as well, so I don't want to be all dropped down into a bad upper body position. Always thinking of lengthening the spine. From that same position, just a little bit different effect. Rather than dropping your elbow right down by this knee, instead you walk it out. So your opposite hand is in front of this knee, so you're kind of rotating. Then from there, rather than dropping down, you're actually going to reach and really try and extend out, really try and lengthen your spine. So I'm just pushing my head out and over top of that knee, and you'll just get a little bit of different sensation in the hip musculature there. So with that, you can play around, explore with both positions. If one feels more uncomfortable than the other one, that's probably the area you need to be focusing more on. So once again, when it gets painful, big deep breaths. Do not hold your breath when you're trying to stretch. That's not going to help you. Big deep breaths. Breathe through it. You can always release. Give yourself a second to get your breathing back. Take a big deep breath as you exhale. then drop back into it. Okay, so 2 minutes per exercise. If you want to add that to your daily routine, it's really going to help with any issues of low back pain, knee pain, etc. Okay, see you next time.